Hi, hello, namaste. A very warm welcome to bio classes. We are in a molecular basis of inheritance chapter, and already in the previous class we started that HGP, Human Genome Project, a very interesting concept. So according to that Human Genome Project, so the major aim is to find out the total sequence present in the human genome. That means in the 2.2 meter DNA, so how many base pair sequences are present? We need to find them all the sequences, which is the first sequence, next base pair, next base pair. In that order we need to find out all the sequences. And thing is, it is on a mega project, it is on a vast project, on bigger project. Why it is the mega project means we observed some data in the previous class. That means the cost of that project $9 billion approximately, and the time taken for that project to completion of that project 13 years time, started in 1990 and get completed in 2003, 13 years time, and 5 major countries involved. So nearly 1,000 scientists from different countries, nearly from 50 countries, even including India also. So many scientists involved for 13 years. So the only aim is to find out the total sequence of the DNA, human DNA. So that is Human Genome Project. It is a mega project, and we observed some goals of that HGP. So to find out all the genes, identifying all the genes, first goal. That means here all the genes means nearly approximately 25,000 genes, and then to find out all the base sequences, nearly 3 billion base pairs sequences, we need to find them out. That is the second goal. Third goal, and those observed sequences should be stored in a correct proper way in the database form. And the next thing, analyzing that data using a particular tools. That means all those are concerned to digital forms. And the next one, so transferring this data, what data we have analyzed, that sequence analysis, that data, that sequence should be transferred to respective sector or anyone industries. So like that we observe. And also the last major goal is ELSI. So addressing ethical, legal, social issues that are concerned with the Human Genome Project. So like that we observed goals. Of course, we are sequencing the human genome, but how? How the scientists they sequenced the human genome? So in this class, let us observe that one. That is a methodology of HGP. Yes, methodology of a Human Genome Project. That means for sequencing the total DNA, so scientists were having two options, two methods. So those two methods, the first one is, so there the first method is expressed sequence tags. So this method, shortly we will call it as EST method. Which method? EST method. So according to this EST method, expressed sequence tags, that means so here the total DNA sequence cannot be observed here. That means we cannot sequence the total DNA content. Only the expressing part is sequenced. Okay, let me tell you how it is. So this is the first one, and okay, let us consider first one before going to the second one. Let us consider the first one here. So here 2.2 meter DNA we have taken. Comparing ourselves, just 2.2 meter DNA is very short length. That means for us, for human beings, 2.2 meter DNA, that length is very short. But compared to that enzyme point of view, in the enzymes point of view, in the biomolecules point of view. Actually DNA is a biomolecule, not a micro, it is a macro biomolecule. Its length is 2.2 meter. We can't see the molecules, right? Even by using a very sophisticated microscope, we can't see the molecules exactly. But here the 2.2 meter DNA should be sequenced by using the different kinds of enzymes. Why? Because all these are the biomolecule machinery activities. So for that activity, 2.2 meter sequencing is very large distance, very large length it is. So for that reason, in that total DNA, only the expressing part we need to understand, only the expressing portion we need to sequence. Say for example, let me tell you, this is the 2.2 meter DNA, right? Right now we are having a 2.2 meter DNA. In this DNA, only the expressing part of the DNA. For example, this portion is expressing, this much portion is expressing, and this much portion is being expressed, and this much portion is expressing here. So only the expressing portions we need to sequence, and the non-expressing portion present in the DNA, we do not go for touching that one, only the expressing part. Suppose here the genes, if we consider the genes present here and here and here, these genes are expressing, means they are going to produce the RNA. That means genes present in these locations, they are going to produce the RNA. If genes producing RNA means, then those are the expressing genes, and those expressing genes sequences we need to understand, EST, right? That means here, and the question will be arised, how they are going to sequence that one. See here, genes means part of the DNA that first produces RNA. If it is active part means it produces RNA. That RNA, mRNA, tRNA, rRNA, all together they are going to produce polypeptide. Next one, what those are going to produce? Polypeptide. That polypeptide is next converting into protein. So this is how the process is going on. Here polypeptide means it is the chain of amino acids, right? What it is? Polypeptide. Here I am talking about the sequence of amino acids. It is a chain of amino acid, right? First amino acid, second, third, fourth, fifth, like that amino acids have been joined one by one to form polypeptide that get converted into protein, and next protein further converted into enzyme or hormone or whatever it is. So that gives one character. If the character is given means, then this gene is expressing gene. Now in the total DNA we need to study only the expressing gene, means we have to take this protein. In the protein we need to study the amino acid sequence. So for example, the first amino acid is methionine. Let us consider MET, methionine, beginning amino acid in this chain. Methionine, if it is present means that methionine is coded by 3 nucleotides. As already we know, in the genetic code box already we have understood 64 codons. So for methionine, one particular code is present, that code having 3 nucleotides, and the next amino acid, next 3 nucleotides. So in that manner they are going to write the nucleotide sequences, and that nucleotide sequence, that is RNA sequence actually. Why? Because RNA is having genetic codes or codons. Once if we find the sequence of RNA, automatically we can find out the DNA sequence also. That means this portion sequence we can understand. So in that sense, only the expressing genes sequences we need to understand. So that method is EST, expressed sequence tags. So it is one simpler method, but thing is very complicated. This is also. Why? Because we have to go in this reverse order. So it is a little bit complicated one. Suppose if we don't want all these puzzles, then we can directly go for the second method. That is one bigger, lengthier method, but easier method compared to this one. So that second method is sequence annotation method. The second method is sequence annotation method. In this method, whole DNA, total DNA gets sequenced, whether it is having a expressing part or non-expressing part, useful part, non-useful part, all the DNA content is sequenced here, irrespective of the nature of the DNA content. That means here all means coding and non-coding DNA get sequenced. So irrespective of a coding and non-coding. And one thing as already we know, in the total DNA, so one thing clearly we know, that is 98% of DNA cannot express. In the total 100% of DNA, 98% of DNA cannot express. Why? Because that DNA is transcriptionally inactive. So what the DNA we will call it as heterochromatin. And 2% of DNA is expressing, only 2% DNA is expressing. So that 2% of DNA is transcriptionally active, and we will consider that DNA as euchromatin. And in that euchromatin DNA, all the expressing genes are present. That means in the first method, we are focusing only on this 2% of DNA. That means we do not go for touching that 98% of DNA. Why? Because that is waste DNA. For us that is waste DNA. Why? Because that DNA cannot work. Then you can ask the question, then why that 98% of DNA is present, still it is not working? Why? Because at the time of evolution, during the course of evolution, the DNA slowly changes. DNA undergoes mutation, further mutation, many times mutation. Then at one point, that DNA, the gene present in the DNA cannot work after many generations, and that becomes a part of heterochromatin. And or sometimes when DNA is going to condense, during condensation of the DNA is going to condense too much. That means in between the enzymes cannot move. So that means that DNA cannot work, and that also become heterochromatin. So that is 98%. But thing is, this much of DNA is giving the structural dynamics to the chromosome structure. When chromosome getting formed at that time, so this much of DNA is at most important here. Okay, anyhow, so we are focusing on, in this method we are focusing on this much only. But in the second method, we are focusing the entire DNA. So here all the coding and non-coding. Coding sequence, that means expressing part of the DNA, which is expressing in the form of RNA, and a non-coding DNA sequence also, which cannot produce the RNA. So both the sequences we need to sequence here, both the DNAs. And here, whether the first method or second method, whatever it might be, so how actually they are going to perform means, imagine this is the cell. So let us consider our cell. So inside the cell we are having the DNA, and that DNA present in the coiled form, right? First we need to break the cell by using suitable enzymes. So that step already we know. Isolation of DNA, isolation of a genome from the cell. That means we need to break the cell membrane and the nuclear membrane, and we need to take out the DNA, and that DNA next undergoing purification. First step is isolation of total DNA from the cell, and the second step is purification. Purification of that DNA. Why? Because DNA how it is one molecule inside the cell, in the same way many other molecules are present. Those molecules are contained, those molecules are present with the DNA, hence the DNA is impure in the form while we are isolating the DNA. So that DNA should be purified, that means removing all other impurities. So that is purification of the DNA. And just I told you, now the total DNA length is 2.2 meter DNA. So this 2.2 meter DNA we cannot sequence in a single step, or we cannot sequence the total DNA at a stretch. So hence, why? Because the DNA is at very huge length. So for us 2.2 meter is small length, but when sequencing all the nucleotides on that DNA, the 2.2 meter DNA is very vast, just like a light year distance. For us, light year distance is how much vast it is. In that sense, 2.2 meter length is very biggest length. So we cannot sequence 2.2 meter DNA length at a time. Hence we need to cut the DNA into pieces. That is fragmentation of DNA. So next we should go for fragmentation. Fragmentation of DNA. That means the total DNA get converted into pieces. Say for example, like this. Now the DNA get into pieces by using REN. By using what? REN. Restriction endonuclease enzymes. Restriction endonuclease enzymes. Particular enzymes are present. So in a biotechnology chapter, we will come to know what these enzymes are, their specialty. So these enzymes are going to cut the DNA at particular places. After cutting, we will get the fragments, pieces of the DNA. And thing is, all the pieces will not be present in the equal length. Some pieces will be small, some pieces will be large, some pieces will be medium, and those pieces get separated on the basis of their length, on the basis of their weight. So the next step is separation of DNA. Separation of fragments. Which fragments? DNA fragments. So next we are going to separate them. Okay, now fragments get ready. That means small pieces of DNA. Say for example, we can't read the total book at one time. The total biology book we can't read at one time. One day 4 pages, next day 4 pages, next day 5 pages, next day 6 pages. Like that we are going to reading. And the thing is, we need to complete the total textbook. We need to complete the total sequence of the DNA. But the DNA length is more. Hence we need to make them fragments. And we have to sequence the fragments one by one. Right? And the next one. Okay. Let me write here. The next step. These fragments are cloned. So the next step is these fragments, the pieces of DNA, what we need to sequence, those pieces of DNA next is subjected for cloning. So we have already heard this term, cloning. Clones. What are clones? Clones are genetically and morphologically similar group of organisms, that is clone, produced in the asexual reproduction, right? So those clones, cloning means, just keep one thing in your mind, increasing multiple copies of the same member. So here if I get one small piece of the DNA, say for example, this is one fragment of DNA. This is one fragment of DNA. This fragment number is less here. Now for any of the two methods, in any of the two methods, if you want to sequence the DNA piece, means sequence means reading of the DNA sequences, means then the number of this DNA pieces should be increased, or its copy number should be increased. Hence it should be subjected for cloning. Cloning means here its number get increased. How it increased means, this piece of DNA, this fragment of DNA inserted into one host cell. So next step is it should be inserted into host cell. Fragments are cloned by host cells. Host cell means we are particularly selecting some cells, some unicellular organisms. In the unicellular organisms, in their DNA, we are inserting this piece. Then how the unicellular host cells are doubling, according to that, inside our DNA also doubling, we will get many copies. Which are those host cells then? So we are using bacteria or yeast. These two organisms we are going to select as the host. So in the bacteria, for this particular process we are using BAC, and yeast means YAC. What this BAC is? Bacterial artificial chromosome. Bacterial artificial chromosome. And yeast artificial chromosome. So here what I am talking is, in the total bacteria, whatever DNA is there, the total DNA of bacteria will consider as a one chromosome actually. So into that DNA this piece is inserted, and that bacteria we will call it as bacterial artificial chromosome. In the same way, yeast artificial chromosome, and both are now considered as the cloning vectors. Which vectors? Cloning vectors. So by using the cloning vectors, our fragments number get increased. That means we will get sufficient number of fragments, DNA fragments. Now these DNA fragments are subjected for so next these are subjected for sequencing. Here sequencing means either it may be first method or second method, whatever it may be. So now we are subjecting it for sequencing by using DNA sequencer. What we are using? DNA sequencer. So we are having a particular device. In that device, so DNA sequences we can observe. DNA sequencer. So this DNA sequencer actually it is working on the principle of Frederick Sanger. Frederick Sanger. So Frederick Sanger, we already heard two terms, so two scientist names, Frederick Miescher, one, Frederick Griffith, and he is the third scientist. Frederick Miescher, he observed the nucleoid content for the first time. Frederick Miescher, DNA nucleoid content. And Frederick Griffith, he performed that transforming principle experiment, and is Frederick Sanger. And Frederick Sanger, he is well known for amino acid sequencing. He is well known for amino acid sequencing. Just I told you, the sequencing of amino acid. Keep one thing in your mind. Sequencing means to identify that particular thing. DNA sequencing means which nucleotides are present. Amino acid sequencing means the serially we have to go into check the type of amino acid. That means in the protein amino acid sequencing, that method actually observed by Frederick Sanger, and on the Frederick Sanger principle this DNA sequencer is going to work. So in the DNA sequencer we are going to sequence the fragments of DNA, either it may be in the first method or second method. Okay, we are going to sequence them. Here we are sequence. So for example, now here let me tell you just one example. In this gene, these are the sequences: A T T C G A T C G. Here T A G C T A G C. Okay, now this is the small piece of gene right now present here. This fragment already we have sequenced by using DNA sequencer, right? In which machine? DNA sequencer. Say for example, sequencing means ATTCG ATCG. This is the sequence. Who read that sequence? So I read that sequence. Now I am the DNA sequencer. If I consider myself as the machine means I am a DNA sequencer. So I am reading this sequence, entire sequence, right? So in that way, computer controlled some devices are present, a DNA sequencer, and those are going to find out the sequence of any fragments. Okay, now we have understood the sequence of all the fragments, but now the major task is we have to join the sequences. Already we have made them fragments. Which fragment is first, which is next, which is the next, we don't know. Why? Because thousands, millions together fragments are present already. Now we need to join orderly one by one. First fragment, next fragment. So it is very confusing task. So humanly it is not possible. We can't join them. So that joining work actually done by computers, special computers. But thing is, for joining them, we need to add addition of repeated sequence. Sorry, not repeated, overlapping sequence. Say for example, here only already we have sequenced this one, this end we are only intentionally we are adding some sequences here. Say for example TTAG, this sequence, and in the same way we are having one more DNA piece, one more fragment. So this is the next fragment, and this fragment at this end also, starting end, we have added TTAG. Yes, now this fragment is present at one place, this fragment is present at one place. Now after joining these two, TT, TT, AA, GG, both are overlapping. That means this total portion becomes overlapping portions. So addition of overlapping sequences. So which margins get overlapped, then we need to join them one by one. Then finally we are getting this total 2.2 meter DNA, right? So this is our extra work, addition of overlapping sequences. So in this manner we can totally sequence the whole DNA. Or only expressing part we can find out. So the first method is only expressing part we need to concentrate on. In the second method, whether it is expressing or non-expressing, whole DNA gets sequenced, right? And here by using this one we can prepare genetic map, or simply we will call it as gene mapping. So we can perform that gene mapping also. In genetics you have heard this term, gene mapping. Say for example, suppose if you are checking the Google map will show which place is first from your destination. So up to your destination, from your place, which place will come first, which is the next place, which is the next place. After joining all the place, we will get one route. In the same way, after joining all the fragments by using overlapping sequences, we will come to know the position of the gene in the total DNA. Which gene is first, which is the next, which is the next. So we will get the map. Which map? Gene map. So that is a genetic mapping actually. So by this one we can find out the genetic mapping, and this kind of genetic mapping and all the related things we can observe in bioinformatics. Actually a special branch is there in the science. bioinformatics. So in bioinformatics we can observe all these things, right? So in that way, in that sense, here just I told you the total DNA gets sequenced here, but thing is that DNA at the time of cell division, inside the cell DNA get condensed into chromosomes. Say for example, if it is our cell, means total 46 chromosomes are present. So this is the diploid content actually. So diploid content means parental and that means paternal and maternal, father chromosome, mother chromosome, two sets we are having. Suppose if we consider haploid content means 23 chromosomes. Suppose if we find the sequence of the DNA present in 23 chromosomes, then automatically remaining 23 chromosomes DNA sequence also same. Why? Because the same DNA get doubled during replication process. Hence we need to find the sequences of the DNA of these chromosomes individually, not actually 23, 24 chromosomes. How many chromosomes actually we sequenced? 24 chromosomes we sequenced. How many chromosomes? 24 chromosomes. Out of 24 chromosomes, 22 chromosomes are autosomes. Yes, 22 chromosomes are autosomes, as already we know. 23 pairs, 22 pairs are autosomes. Last one pair is allosome. Allosome is sex chromosome. So here 22 chromosomes are autosomes and X and Y, these are allosomes, right? That means 22 plus these two, 24 chromosomes. So by using any one method, they identified the sequence of DNA present in 24 chromosomes, right? In that sense, the biggest chromosome, that is actually first chromosome, so the biggest chromosome is the first chromosome actually. Why it is biggest means actually it is having 2000 2968 genes. That means it is on a bigger chromosome actually, biggest chromosome in our cell. So how many genes actually it is having? 2968 genes. That that chromosome, so for example, actually this is the chromosome, and a chromosome actually, if the chromosome get decondensed means it becomes a thread like, that means a DNA. So this DNA actually they sequenced first, and that sequencing completed in May 2006. That means it took many days time. It completed in May 2006 actually. That sequencing of this chromosome actually. Which chromosome? The first chromosome. Then how can we consider that is the first chromosome? Actually so many okay, let us consider haploid content. 23 chromosomes we are having. Out of 23 chromosome, which chromosome is bigger in size? That chromosome we will usually consider as a first chromosome. So that chromosome DNA, its sequencing actually completed in May 2006. Recently it get completed. That means it is a recent works, all these things are. So this is how they are going to sequence the DNA by using the two methodologies. But whatever the methodology it might be, these are the steps they are going to follow, right? So by using these steps carefully, they are going to sequence the whole DNA here. Yes, in the next class, let us focus on the silent features. That means after the Human Genome Project, what we understood, what are the datas we collected, what are the interesting things we observed related to the DNA. So in the next class we observed that one. We can observe that salient features of Human Genome Project. And one more thing, in your theory examination from this particular chapter, if they ask for 5 marks means maximum time, most of the times they will ask the question from this Human Genome Project, either goals of the Human Genome Project or salient features of the Human Genome Project, or sometimes they may ask the methodology also. So focus on this one. Yes, thank you. In the next class, let's focus on that one.